HR teams face a number of challenges when deciding to hire remotely. During the onboarding phase, the main one concerns the lack of knowledge of local employment laws, of the country where the potential candidate is located, or even on the regulations and conditions of remote working in the country where the company is headquartered. Once the person accepts the offer at the contract stage, you need to ensure the candidate has a locally compliant contract and overcome the challenge of deciding if you want to hire a full-time employee or an independent contractor. Lastly, during the course of employment, the company needs to make sure they're paying the necessary social and employer contributions to the country where the employee is located. Compliance is normally the biggest challenge from a time and resources perspective. For instance, hiring external counsel across all different markets can be extremely costly. Compliance tech tools for HR have come a long way in breaching the gap. For instance, onboarding tools such as Kenjo or LANO help with both of these. LANO offers an employer of record solution that allows companies to hire in countries where they don't have a legal entity. And Kenjo lets you sign digital and legally binding employment contracts to perform remote onboarding, among other aspects. Technology is key for good organization. Having all documents digitized, invoices, payslips, contracts stored in one single platform is a true game changer for HR and finance teams, and also founders of early stage ventures. Admin tasks such as time tracking, reporting, and payments can also be streamlined, and the time saved is time that your team can dedicate to improving other more pressing and important topics. In addition, software tools such as Zoom or Slack have really helped to create a true remote culture for remote first and non-remote first companies. Fully remote work is any job or position where the employee doesn't have to work from the company's office and can do so wherever he or she wants, agnostic of location. On the other hand, working from home means that the main place of work is the employee's home. In this situation, the company should provide the employee with all the necessary materials, as in equipment or technology, that the employee might need for accomplishing the job. Lastly, a hybrid employment model means that a company might have teams or departments split between working at the office and working from home. Note here that this model doesn't mean that the employees decide when to work from home or the office, as that would be a flexible work style. This depends on what the country of destination has set out as the maximum number of days a person can be residing in that country and hence be considered tax liable. In Europe, the employee is subject to the legislation of the country where he or she actually works as an employed or as a self-employed person. However, as a general rule for the European Union, the employee should not be spending more than 183 days in a natural year in another European country. Regarding this, there is a mechanism called foreign employer through which, for example, a person can be employed by a German company, let's say, on a contract basis, and be a legal and tax resident in Spain. The German company has to register with the tax authorities of Spain simply with a tax ID, and then they can pay social costs. If the contract explicitly states that the employee is working remotely, the employer should not ask him or her to work on site. However, the contract can be revoked from both sides and the working conditions might change. This depends on the working laws of every country, but as a general rule, the employee can request an adaptation of the working hours and the type of contract to reconcile aspects such as work and family life. This right is generally speaking not absolute, as a company can refuse if there is an objective reason for not carrying out a distance contract. In some countries, like for instance in Spain, the employee can sue the company to have a judge decide where there is or not an objective reason. Each country has its own legislation, but generally speaking, there are no limitations to the type of contract that the employee needs for working remotely, as he or she can do so with a temporary, permanent, or fixed discontinuous contract.